he had MTV right when it came out. I stayed up all night long. I was like hooked, like I was on crack.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to stay up like till 4 in the morning watching that stuff.
Hey everybody, welcome back to The Shed. I'm Troy. This is Dave. Today we're talking about the top 3 dog songs. But before we get started, why don't you leave your picks below, see if they match ours. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and if you have any ideas for future episodes, leave them below. We'd love to hear them. Anyway, let's get going. What's your number 3 dog song?
Well, I'm not a cat person.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm a dog person. But, you know, I love, you know, the song Cat People by David Bowie. I mean, that's a great song.
Maybe we should do a cat.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a cat episode. You know, that's the song on Let's Dance that has Stevie Ray Vaughan playing on it.
Yeah.
And it's got a greatest Stevie Ray Vaughan intro. But when it comes down to it, I'm allergic to cats. And I have a dog named Lola, who's a non-shedding dog. And anyways, my number 1 song is Lola. No, that's because my dog Lola. Lola's a crazy, silly, nutty dog. But really, when it comes down to dog songs, I'll go with Hey Bulldog by the Beatles. You know, it was originally released on, I think, the Yellow Submarine album, which was an album that they did that corresponded with the movie. And I think in the movie, at least the European version, they had that song in there. But when it was released in the US, they cut it. It was basically a John Lennon song. And he originally wrote it as Hey Bullfrog, not Hey
Really?
Bulldog. Yeah. When they got in the studio, and I think Paul had convinced them to change it to Hey Bulldog instead of Bullfrog. And, you know, of course, it was credited as Lennon and McCartney, which all the songs were back then.
Yeah.
No matter who wrote it, it was, you know, a Lennon-McCartney song. I think Rolling Stone picked it at like number 81 as one of the best Beatles songs.
It was probably a good idea to change it from Hey Bullfrog to Hey Bulldog.
Yeah, frogs are delicious, dogs are not.
But, I mean, it's hard to have a pet frog.
That's true.
I guess you could, but
Yeah.
you can't really play fetch with a frog, I guess.
Yeah. Unless you got some crickets or something. But yeah, that's number 3.
That's a great number 3. My number 3 is Dirty Dog by ZZ Top. So that song was off the album Eliminator, which came out in '83, which was probably their most successful album.
It was the album where they really changed their style of music,
Yeah.
and they changed their videos.
Yeah.
Of course, you had, you know, Sharp Dressed Man and all the
and
songs.
Legs. It was a departure sound-wise too, because there's a lot of synthesizers in it. There's a lot of like drum machines.
Sure.
You know, they totally changed their sound, but you still had that rock and blues element to it. That album sold like 11 million albums. It really took them into
rocketed them to a whole new. It was the MTV era
Yeah.
too, because they were so smart about how they could transform the band into this, like you said, change your sound with synths, with
drum machines
and all that stuff. And it really was ZZ Top's zenith
Exactly.
I think, when it comes to their music. And wasn't my favorite period of ZZ Top, but
It was the first period of ZZ Top that I knew about, because I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of those, like, I didn't know who ZZ Top was until all those videos were on MTV, or even though I didn't have MTV at the time, but I still saw the videos on, I guess, Friday Night Videos. I don't know where I saw them, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But all those videos are great. This song was not a single, and I really couldn't find a lot of information. I couldn't find any information about the song specifically.
You listen to me and this is why. You're just a dog. A scabby dog.
So Rolling Stone named that album 398 of the best top 500 albums of all time.
I'm lucky bird that you ever find. I'm lucky jelly in your mighty mind.
I'd put it up higher than that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a great album. I love
Yeah.
ZZ Top, and then they came out with the album after that called Afterburner, which I had, and it was very similar
Yeah.
sound-wise. They had a little more, it wasn't as upbeat as Eliminator, but it was still a great album. Slip Inside My Sleeping Bag, it's a great song.
Yeah.
Slip inside my sleeping bag. Slip inside my sleeping bag.
They definitely milked the video era, and they had great videos,
Yeah.
and they had great, kind of a theme running
Yeah.
from all those videos. I mean, it was usually a car in there,
Yeah. Car and Girls.
car and girls,
That's what MTV was about back in the day.
and beards.
Yeah. Did you know that, I don't know if it was Schick or Bic, one of the razor companies, they wanted to pay them, now back in the day this was a lot of money, but they wanted to pay ZZ Top $1 million to shave their beards for a razor commercial. And
And they said,
of course they declined.
of course,
Probably a good thing.
take
Anyway,
you 3 years to get back to where you started. I know, for sure. But yeah, that's a good one.
so that's my number 3.
Well, my number 2 is Led Zeppelin, Black Dog.
Hey, hey, mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. God said the way you swing gonna make you burn, gonna make you stay.
That was the first song off their 4th album, which we don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Some people call it Led Zeppelin 4. Some call it the Runes album. And the thing about it is, Zeppelin, when they released that album, there was nothing on that album that said it was Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You look on the spine,
Yeah,
it didn't say
yeah.
Led Zeppelin. And they were trying to be obscure.
Yeah.
It really added to their mystique, because a lot of record stores were like, what the,
Who's this?
Who's this?
Where do
Because
we
how are gonna sell
categorize
this-
it?
How are we going to sell this album?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't say anywhere on the album that it was Led Zeppelin. It was Led Zeppelin 4. Some call it the Runes album, some of the Symbols. That's all they used.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Robert and John and John had their own little symbols, and that was it. Talk about ballsy and having, cojones to be able to just say, hey man, we're going to release this album. We're not going to put a name on it. We're going to just let people figure it out. But that album was recorded in Headley Grange, which was this old mansion where, Zeppelin famously, set up the drums in the hallway. Where they got the great drum sound for John Bonham. The thing about the song is, Black Dog, is it has, Jimmy wrote this riff, which is a really weird kind of time signature.
It is weird, yeah.
Because it's not a 4/4, it's just. But Bonham had trouble playing it.
I bet.
And he didn't really know how to, fucking play along with it. So what he did is he just kind of played it like a straight, 4/4 time, and it all worked.
Spent my money, I took my car.
And the song was named because when they were recording at Headley Grange, there was this stray, like, black lab dog that was running around.
Yeah.
And they didn't really know what to call it, so they called it a black dog. It's a classic song just because it does have that weird timing in it, and then the drums are straight, and then Robert Plant's vocals are just insane.
It is one of those songs that when I try to play air drums while I'm driving down the road,
Yeah.
it's really hard to figure out where to come in. You know that whole intro
Yeah,
part?
yeah.
It's so complicated because they didn't have click tracks really back then.
No.
Yeah, so they were like, I don't know how they did it because you don't hear a hi-hat cymbal going along. You don't hear any clicks going along with the little intro.
They were
but they come
yeah.
in perfectly every time.
And they, Zeppelin were such master musicians.
Yeah.
And, when they recorded that at Headley Grange, and they had a mobile unit outside, and that's where they kind of hung out for several weeks cutting that album. And it's a great number 2 dog song.
I love it. It almost made my list, but I thought it's so good that it sort of needs to be on that shelf. That shelf somewhere that
It's on the dog shelf
It's too high up, so I don't even.
next to my Ashes of Artie.
So my number 2 is Nazareth, Hair the Dog. So Hair the Dog was Nazareth's 6th album, came out in 1975, and it was actually the B-side to the single Love Hurts.
Sure.
Love hurts, love scars.
Which
And-
was by who?
You told me, but I forgot. I guess
Everly.
The Everly Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, which is a great song. Both versions are great. But when I first heard that song when I was like a teenager, man, I was like, wow, I love that guitar riff. It's just down, da, 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 da.
Heartbreaker, soul shaker. I've been told about you.
That was like my 9th grade, 10th grade kind of
Yeah.
one of those songs that I can slot and say, I knew where it was back when I heard it.
Now you're messing with a son of a bitch. Now you're messing with a son of a bitch.
So they originally wanted to name the song "Now You're Messing with a Son of a Bitch," but the record label didn't allow that. They didn't want a song name.
Profanity.
They didn't want profanity in the title of a song back then. These days, you can put whatever you want to in the title of a song. But back then, it was a little different. So they came up with Hair of the Dog, which means it's sort of a play on words, like hair, like an air of a dog. A
I
dog.
always think a hair of the dog is, well,
You could think of it that way, but the way it's sort of a play on words. Hair, it sort of takes the place of the word air, and dog is a bitch. So it's the air of a bitch. Hair of the dog.
no way.
Yeah, way.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
Now you're messing with a son of a bitch. Now you're messing with a son of a bitch.
I just thought it was like,
So instead of
I
using-
just thought it was like drinking a beer the day after just to take the edge off. Which I did today.
Well, that's the other play on words too, I guess, because it means a lot of, it means a couple of things, the title. But yeah, they originally wanted to name it Now You're Messing with the Son of a Bitch, and they named it Hair of the Dog.
It was their second biggest song on that album. It
Yeah.
was a title track too, but
Yeah.
Love Hurts, was the hit.
Both those songs are great songs, but that's my number 2 dog song. What's your number 1?
Beer break.
Now you're messing with a son of a bitch.
My number 1 is by one of my favorite bands. It's Slobberbone. Give me back my dog.
Give me back my dog. Give me back my dog.
They formed in the 90s in Denton, And they had several albums, and then they had this one album. It was a great album. It was on New West Records. It was recorded at Arden Studios in Memphis. Jim Dickinson, who's one of the great producers, produced it. His sons are in the North Mississippi All-Stars. But that song was a great song, and it's really a song about love that had faded or whatever.
It was mine before I met you. It was mine before I let you come closer and hold it and know it the way you once knew me.
And the singer has a dog, and his gal kind of like adopts a dog and then leaves and takes a dog. And the song is called "Give Me Back My Dog," and it's got a lot of clever lyrics in it.
Just throwing me a bone. That was mine before you found me.
Slobberbone, the band took their name from a dog chew toy. So
Really?
I gotta pick it, right? What some people don't realize is that Stephen King, the author, is a huge fan of the band. And he picked that song as one of the 3 greatest rock songs of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he put it in a book, I think. He referenced it in one of his books. But yeah, he picked it along with like an Elvis Costello song and another song. But it's a real clever song, and it's a real smart song, and it's a rocking song, man. It's just got this great guitar lead in it. One of the things I love about that song is during the lead, they do a kind of a turnaround on it, and it has a riff that is basically kind of an homage to Del Shannon's Runaway. Slobberbone is kind of cowpunk, kind of rock, kind of. They've always had so many different cool songs, but I can't tell you how much I love that band.
All right, well, my number 1 is AC/DC, Giving the Dog a Bone.
She take you down the inside, going down to her knees.
So that song was on AC/DC, Back in Black, which is the top 3 best-selling rock albums of all time. It sold over 50 million albums.
I'm just giving the dog a bone. Giving the dog a bone. Giving the dog a bone.
We talked about this a couple times, and Back in Black was massive when
Yeah.
I was in college, and
Still massive now.
it was still massive now, but I mean back then, I can't remember in 1980 there being a bigger album than that.
Every song on that album is good, and this was not a single. You know, it wasn't one of the
There were so many
It was-
others that were
yeah
released as singles.
yeah
but
that were
yeah, that's
that
a-
were just as good or better. But every song on that album freaking
Yeah.
rocks.
Oh, she's using her head again. Using her head again. She's using her head.
So it was actually a song that was the Humane Society used to promote dental health. That's why it was written.
Doggy Dental Health.
That's not what it was about. If you listen to the lyrics, I think you pretty much can understand what the song is about.
Blowing me crazy till my ammunition is dry.
Who's the dog and what's the bone?
Well, it's another one of those double entendre songs.
And AC/DC, about half of their songs are exactly like that.
Exactly.
Giving the dog a bone. Giving the dog a bone. Giving the dog a bone.
So a fun fact, that album was recorded in the Bahamas.
Back in Black?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's crazy, huh? Because when you think of Back in Black, you don't think the Bahamas.
I would think it was recorded in, Australia.
No, it was recorded in the Bahamas. I don't know why. I can't remember why. I think because of
Maybe Mutt Lang wanted to get a tan.
that's probably what it was. It might have been cheaper to record down there.
Yeah,
Who knows?
sure.
I don't know. Or maybe they just wanted to hang out on the beach somewhere. Anyway.
Right.
Anyway, that's our top 3 dog songs. Leave your picks below. Let us know what they are. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, get some merch. We got a link below, and we'll see you next time in the shed.
Woof.